Ever get the feeling that, like, the simplest things can be the most mind-blowing? That's what our listeners' deep dive request is all about.
Okay.
They've shared an excerpt with us from chapter 05.pdf, and it dives into something called incommensurable magnitudes. Sounds intense, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll break it all down.
What's fascinating about this topic is that it really throws a wrench into something I think we take for granted every day. It's this very concept of measurement.
It's like finding out your trusty measuring tape has been lying to you all along.
Right.
But before we unravel that mystery, let's touch on the rock star of geometry, Pythagoras.
Yeah.
We all know his famous theorem, right?
Absolutely. Though it's interesting to note that the Pythagorean theorem, while attributed to Pythagoras, was actually known in Babylonian and Egyptian mathematics long before him. It highlights how mathematical understanding often evolves, It builds upon previous knowledge and insights.
So true. It's like math is a giant collaborative mixtape through history.
I like that. Yeah.
But this excerpt suggests Pythagoras' most significant discovery wasn't the theorem itself,
Right.
but these incommensurable magnitudes. What exactly does incommensurable even mean in this context?
So imagine you're trying to compare two lengths using a measuring stick.
Okay.
And if you can find a unit on your stick that fits perfectly into both lengths a whole number of times, then those lengths are commensurable. They have a common measure.
Okay, so like 10 inches and 15 inches, both divisible by 1 inch.
Precisely.
Okay.
But what Pythagoras and his followers stumbled upon was this mind-blowing fact that not all lengths play by these rules.
Now that's where things start to get really interesting. The excerpt mentions using a square and its diagonal to illustrate this. It sounds simple enough,
right?
But what's the big deal about a square and its diagonal?
Well, imagine a perfect square and you draw a line straight across its middle, connecting opposite corners. That's your diagonal. Now, let's say you want to measure both the side of the square and its diagonal using the same unit. You would think no matter how small you make your unit, you could eventually find one that fits perfectly into both, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Keep making the unit smaller and smaller until you find a common ground.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. No matter how small you go, you'll never find that perfect common unit for both the side of the square and its diagonal. They are what we call incommensurable.
Wait, really? It feels like the universe is pulling a fast one on us. So how do they figure that out, just using geometry?
So the excerpt likely details a proof by contradiction.
Right.
It demonstrates how assuming you can find a common unit for the square side and diagonal ultimately leads to an impossible result.
Okay.
Proving that our initial assumption must be wrong.
That's incredible. So you're telling me that something as simple as a square's diagonal threw a wrench into, like, centuries of mathematical understanding.
Precisely. It challenged the Greeks' understanding of the universe as inherently based on whole numbers and their ratios. This discovery showed that numbers are more complex, more intricate than they ever imagined.
So what are the implications of all this? We use numbers every day, but we don't really think about them this way.
This discovery forced mathematicians to expand their understanding of numbers, leading to the concept of irrational numbers.
Okay.
These are numbers that can't be expressed as a simple fraction of two whole numbers, like the square root of 2, that's the length of our pesky diagonal.
Right.
This realization had profound implications, impacting everything from advanced mathematics to our understanding of the very fabric of the cosmos.
It's amazing how something so seemingly simple can have such, like, ripple effect. It makes you wonder what other mathematical mysteries are hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. It serves as a constant reminder that even in the seemingly well-defined world of mathematics, there are always deeper truths waiting to be uncovered.